across the timeline for the Lobos. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Fires straight on three. It's short. Stick back goes for Singleton. It should count. Yes, indeed, it will. 52-35 on the putback by Saquon Singleton at the horn.
104-65. Lobos over Our Lady of the Lake. They improved to 2-0 on the season. Latorno is up next. That was Robert Portnoy and Hunter Green on the UNM Radio Network. You heard it over on News Radio KKOB. Good day to you. Your Lobos are 2-0. You have a first-team football player who's not a specialist kicker, returner, punter, and life seems to be grooving over in Loboville. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Good morning to you. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Micah produces for us on the radio side. I'm not even sure who's over there. Alden's over on there on the ProView Network side on the visual medium. What's up, dude? How you living in your Central Michigan garb merch today? What's up, Josh?
Living good. It was definitely a day of let's get some reps in. You had 16 guys take the court for the Lobos, a game that they controlled from start to finish. You'd expect that. More talented team. Just a chance to, stretch those legs out, get a game in, and get to do it again on Thursday.
All 16 members of the Lobos squad who were in attendance got into the game. That included debuts for Logan Padgett, Daniel Headings, Isaiah Martin, Noah Dorsey, Eloy Medina got in the game as well. I got a little, there's Eloy Medina. I was, who's number 23 or whatever he was wearing out there. So big day for certainly for Robert Portnoy and Hunter Green to call a route over Our Lady of the Lake. Paul Weir said afterwards was good, and I'm paraphrasing, but he go against a really, really fast team. And again, I told you yesterday I was going to be super busy and I wasn't going to have a chance to watch that. I mean, so were they really, really fast? Were they relatively fast? Were they Mountain West fast, ACC fast, NAIA fast? Because after the game, he really, really praised their speed.
They were smaller than the Lobos. I didn't think they were quite the fastest team I've seen on a basketball court. I think it meant more of a coach probably talking about playing a smaller team, guard-oriented lineup, having the big guys in different situations where you're not able to truly match up when you have Matos or Valdir Manuel, guys that are biggest dudes on the court, and our biggest guy on Our Lady of the Lake, I think, was 6'6". So it's probably more of that. I didn't think they were incredibly speedy.
All right. 8th time in Paul Weir's career, Lobos get 100 points. First time since just about a year ago when they played Houston Baptist. They won by 39. Last time they won by 30 or more was last year over San Jose State. So some good stuff for them. We took the field. McQuatch Malwatch led them again in scoring, so we're wrong on that. But they spread around. Look, these things, go out and get a good run. Like go out and get a good run. Feel good. Figure out, you got to play someone. You've got Boise State next week. You're playing a league game. I normally this would be a Pitt game in early November. Instead, it was a Rice game in mid-December. It is what it is. This is who they can play. This is what they got. Latorno, which, again, I know nothing. What's Latorno's nickname? What do they call? You got to figure that one out soon.
The Yellow Jackets? I'm just making something up.
I'm down. I'll figure it out. But I think they got out of it what they wanted to, and they got combinations out there, and they got a good run in.
And that's all it is right now. You just want to get yourself ready for the series Monday, Wednesday next week at Boise State, because that's Mountain West play. 2 games in 3 days throughout the year to hopefully get in your 20-game conference schedule. And for the Lobos, it's about learning, all right, who are these guys? And you got a good look at them on Sunday in a little tougher situation, but you just start to get an idea of how they play. There's so many new guys that we haven't seen on the basketball court. So what are their tendencies? What do they look like? Byron Matos, Valdir Manuel, Jeremiah Francis is someone that, I'm still getting a handle on what type of point guard he is. He's a steady guy. He will take a shot, but he doesn't do a whole lot. Saquon Singleton, I keep thinking it's Vance Jackson out there. I got to get that number 2 out of my mind, but I really like what he brings to the court. It's the length and versatility stands out about this basketball team, and I'm interested to see when they go up against Boise State, a team that's had a few bigger games under their belt, a team that's picked, I think, what they're second in the Mountain West Conference, how these guys respond, because this team it's different than the one we've seen over the last couple of years, because they're going to have to win inside out. It's going to be like McQuatch Malawatch playing that mid-range game, attacking the basket, and then you get to the perimeter. But it all starts with rebounding and defense, things that really aren't going to be tested in matchups like this, but still just play some basketball.
So to your point, a 48-21 advantage in rebounding. I mean, you're not going to see a 48-21 advantage in rebounding in the next 2 years, I don't think, in a Lobo game until they play Our Lady of the Lake in the Pit 2 Novembers from now. And defensively, they kept the Saints to a shooting percentage of just over 37%. So I think you'll take that. Turnovers, they turned Our Lady of the Lake over 18 times. Probably would like to see your number down a little bit from 14 in a game like this, but it can get sloppy towards the end as well. Saquon Singleton, as you said, had the double-double, 22 and 10. McQuatch that's not right. That's not right. It was 13 and 10. Malawatch led them with 17. 16 points for Rod Brown, who seems like he's going to play a really, really big role on this team. Valdir Manuel had 11 and 6, so it's deep. I guess again, I'm looking at highlights, reports, and numbers, but reading into this, it just feels like JJ a game where let's get a run, let's see what combinations look like, and don't take too much out of it. You beat an NAI team by 39.
Yep, you get those reps and you move on. It's about execution in situations like this. Same thing is going to be there Thursday for the Lobos against a D3 opponent. It's one that you started later than everyone else. You need to find opponents on the road who's available. Well, these teams are, and then it will hopefully get you enough to where you feel, all right, we're a healthy enough basketball team. At least we have an idea of what we want to do on the basketball court when you take that step up in Mountain West play next week.
La Tourneau, a private university in Longview, Texas. Did you know that?
I knew that. I did Google that much, but that was about it.
All right, a Christian Polytechnic University, and I will find you their nickname, because I mean it's going to matter for Robert. You know what though? You might be right. There's a B on here, so they might be the Hornets or the Yellow Jackets, or because it's Yellow Jackets and it's Fear the Sting, and their TV is called Buzz Vision. Ooh. Buzz Vision. Never mind ProView Networks now. They got Buzz Vision.
Watch out.
Yeah. All right. Yellow Jackets. That's and at La Tourneau. All right. 246-0610. 888-922-0610. That's how you can get in and be part of the show today. 505-246-0610. Emails come in as always. Jeff at 610knml.com. JJ at 610knml.com. On the Twitter, great follow, and you should be following JJ at _JJ Buck. And on the Facebook, it's the OD in the AM. We'll wrap up some football. JJ, good. I think a good showing by Lobos on the all-conference team. Jarek Reed, first team. Brandon Shook, second team. You had Kyle Stapley and Teton Saltis, Bobby Cole, and who am I forgetting on honorable mention? Joey Noble on honorable mention. I think that's about right for a team that went 2-5 and improved and got better. You could make an argument maybe Brandon Shook should be first team. You could have that conversation. Then you'd have to tell me who you're taking off. Jordan Bird, Manzano High School, also made the all-conference team for San Diego State as a return man. So about what you expect. I think it was fair, and I think it's a good wrap for Lobo football season.
It's very nice recognition as first team all-conference players. Jarek Reed was big throughout the season with his interceptions, made some big plays right before half in some games, gave the Lobos life, a chance in the second half. I mean, look at the honorable mention. I think Joey Noble was the first player that jumped out on this team defensively, and then you started to see those other guys come along. And I believe, if I heard Danny Gonzalez right yesterday in that coach's show, Joey Noble should return to the Lobos next season. So that's a definitely bonus for that defensive line. And to have Bobby Cole, who I think talent-wise, Nate Jones is probably better, but Bobby Cole is just a stout physical runner that gets the job done, and that combination should be very nice next year.
Yeah, I really liked what Bobby Cole did. I like what he became. I liked the physical, sturdy, tough, thick running back that he became, and he got honored with first team all conference. All right, 505-246-0610. What are your thoughts? Today's signing day for football teams around the country. Danny will be with us tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I'll reach out to Doug Martin, too, and see if we can catch up with New Mexico State's football coach as they're getting ready for their spring season and see how they're doing. And I want to talk when we get back. The new college football playoff standings are out, JJ. And the answer isn't, the answer can't be just have an 18 playoff, because they're not. Okay, so I'm hoping we can get beyond, well, here's the answer. Okay, but it's not the answer because we're not doing it. So I'm hoping, Grady, I got your email already. I'll read the last one if you want to send it. JJ, I know you love it, but I want to take the conversation to a place that isn't that, because we're not having one this year. So. And I get it, and you might even be right. This might have been a good year to say, hey, let's see what it looks like. But we're not. So I want to have a conversation about what it looks like, and how they got to it, because there's some things in there that make you scratch your head a little bit. 505-246-0610 if you want to get in. It's the opening drive on ProView Networks and 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
As Bobby's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's gonna walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. Day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man! Touchdown! Wildcats! not a defender inside. A little bit. Skowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards. He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez.
Lobos, and they get another turnover, and they'll kick it for a wing 3 ball, and Emmanuel Quach knocks down his third 3 of this game. Quach is shooting the eyes out of it, and the Lobos take their biggest lead, 57-35.
104-65 was the final number. That's Robert Portnoy along the UNM Lobo Radio Network over on News Radio KKOB. New Mexico beat Our Lady of the Lake 104-65. Tomorrow, Letorno. How'd you know? Did you already look at their website and you just saw the yellow jacket on there? I mean, you didn't pull that out of your tuchus.
No, it was said during the game last night. The announcer had a little idea of who the Lobos were playing on Thursday.
All right. I mean, we both, we're in this. We tend to know nicknames of random universities. Letorno would have been impressive to me. It would have. All right. Yesterday, the CFP, the College Football Playoff, unveiled their latest standings. And the top is solid. The top is what it is. And I think Alabama and Notre Dame have pretty much secured spots in the College Football Playoff. If they win their conference championship games, or I believe if they lose their conference championships, Alabama at 10-0, Notre Dame at 10-0, I believe have secured a spot. Notre Dame has beat Clemson, who is number 3, and they will play again on Saturday in the ACC championship game, and then Ohio State is number 4 at just 5-0. So are we agreeance that probably no matter what, if Alabama loses to Florida, and or if Notre Dame loses to Clemson, do we believe both of them will be in the College Football Playoff?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's right. And if Clemson wins and Ohio State wins, then your Final Four is set, right? If Clemson beats Notre Dame and Ohio State, as everybody expects, beats Northwestern, I think we're set. The one question is, what if Notre Dame beats Clemson? So who then gets in? Is it a Texas A&M who's at number 5, who's 7-1, who will not play in a conference championship game, but did beat Florida, who's playing in the conference championship game? Is it Iowa State, who's 8-2 and playing in a conference championship game? They would win the Big 12. Would they get in? USC, who could win a power conference at 6-0 if they beat Oregon this weekend, is not anywhere near getting in. Coastal Carolina and Cincinnati could both win conferences. They're not power conferences. They're undefeated. They are ranked above a power conference potential champion. And the biggest thing of all when I looked at this last night, Florida, who was 6th, loses to a 3-5 LSU team. And if you're not going to tell me that name brand doesn't mean anything, they lost to the defending national champions, who look nothing like defending national champions. They were 23-point favorites. They lost at home to a 3-5 team and slipped 1 spot. Of everything that the CFP committee's ever done, like that's the one to me, I think, I'll go back and look, that had me scratching my head the most. How Florida drops 1 spot.
They're keeping them in the conversation because they're playing in the SEC championship game, and it's all right. Who are we going to have ranked after the top 4? You got to keep that door open a little bit. That's why I think we've seen Iowa State make that jump to number 6 at this point in time. I think Coastal Carolina and Cincinnati should be ranked right beside each other in the top 10, because that would make a ton of sense for who's going to be the Group of 5 representative. It's Georgia, Indiana should not be ahead of Coastal Carolina at this point in time. I don't care if you play in a power conference. Coastal Carolina has 2 top 20 wins right now. 2 teams they beat are in the top 20 in the college football rankings, and they're sitting there at 12.
And then you got USC at 5-0 at 13th, who's a power conference undefeated. And I get it. Their wins have not been beautiful or impressive, but they won. They win games. How you're going to sit here and tell me a 2-loss Oklahoma, a 2-loss Iowa State. The Big 12's not that damn good. I mean, you can sit here and tell me, well, the Pac-12's not great. Okay. But if you're going to tell me they're a power conference, SC's undefeated, and I got it 5-0. It's a smaller sample size. It's just weird you told me that wasn't going to matter. I'm looking at 5-0 Ohio State sitting at number 4. Yes, they've won more impressively. I don't know if they played better teams, but they've won more impressively. Well, they played Penn State, Jeff. Who cares? Penn State stinks. They beat Indiana. That's their win. Michigan's bad. Penn State's bad. They're brand names, but they're bad. 2-loss Florida, 2-loss Iowa State, 2-loss Georgia, 2-loss Oklahoma, and SC can't even crack the top 5. Like I don't care if your eyes test tells you that they're not good. They're 5-0 in a power conference. If they beat Oregon, they're going to go 6-0, win the Pac-12.
Well, that's what happens when we don't necessarily have criteria. Now, it's supposed to be open to this sort of thing. Like, just let's see who the best team is. And I do believe that the preseason rankings, it's hard to not take those into account, because preseason rankings for everyone gives us an idea of who's good. Like, we'll say a team could be terrible, but if they're ranked 5, like in the preseason rankings, we're going to say, oh, how even worse of a season it was for them. Like, and then that's the challenge. It's just human nature. And I think that's why Ohio State is where they are versus USC. Because in my opinion, to your point, what you laid out, Coastal Carolina, Cincinnati, USC should all be top 10 teams for the purpose of the college football playoff rankings. USC is better than Florida right now. They should be there they should be right there with Iowa State. If you want to say a potential to win a conference has you right there, okay, put them at 6 or 7. Same thing with Cincinnati and Coastal Carolina, because they're battling to be the Group of 5 representatives, so they should be side by side. And the one team I don't understand is A&M. How they were at 5 early in the season, when everyone else was still trying to catch up. They got whatever sample we can. Yeah, they beat Florida, and that was it. And I had them at 5, and they haven't moved. I don't get it.
Do you know how badly they lost Alabama? By 4 touchdowns. Yeah. So what you're telling me is, according to this, if Clemson gets beat, we're going to watch A&M and Alabama again in the semifinal? That's what we want to see? 4 touchdowns. Yeah, they beat Florida. And Dan Mullen complained that there was a crowd there that helped A&M win. I'm with you on the A&M thing. To me, Cincinnati should be in that 5 slot, but that's not ever going to happen, and you know that. But how you've got all these 2-loss teams above them is stunning to me. And the 2 like is Iowa State and Oklahoma better than SC? Are they better than Coastal? Are they better than Cincinnati? Or because they play in the Big 12? And I do. This is again where I think they're getting rewarded because they played a full season. Or a relatively full season, a fuller season, right? They started earlier. They started back in September. The Pac-12 didn't start till November. I think they're getting rewarded. And again, SC has not been impressive in their wins. I'm not telling you I think SC is the best team. I actually don't. But they're 5-0 as a Pac-12 team, potentially going to be a 6-0 Pac-12 champion. And you're going to rank them behind 2-loss, 4 2-loss teams, and all of the undefeated Group of 5 champions. I don't get it. I just that's the one of the Florida thing just blows my mind. The SC thing I think I kind of get, but I tell you I don't. I think I get it because the wins aren't impressive, and they didn't play as much. But Ohio State's 5-0. Ohio State hadn't played in how damn long? When was the last time you saw Ohio State play? I think it was like 3 weeks ago, a month ago. But look, I get this season's wonky, and more than anybody, or more than most, I probably understand how wonky this season is what I'm trying to do. And so you sit here, and I'm trying not to get too fired up about it, but I just, the Florida thing blew my mind last night. That's all. It just, and I don't hate Florida. I got nothing against Florida, but that one blew my mind.
But this is what it's supposed to be. You know, this is a time the college football playoff rankings were supposed to be, the regular season matters that much more, and we are going to do things on a weekly basis in the eye test and what you do, and that was the worst loss of
by far
the weekend. It's up there with Iowa State then, but you know Iowa State lost to who? Louisiana, who happens to be a top 20 team. So it's one that.
Who's Iowa State's other loss? Is it Oklahoma State? Iowa State's second loss. Who is it?
I don't know it off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'll find it.
But for
Louisiana.
Yeah, but we're talking about the second loss for the Cyclones. I'd have to look it up. I don't know their stop of the schedule.
All right, I want your thoughts on it because it's really it's interesting. Their other loss was Oklahoma State. It was 24-21. All right, 2460610. Come on in on the college football playoffs because, and again, the answer this year. I mean, the simple one is, well, they should go to 8 teams. Okay, but we're not doing that. So what would be right? And I think it's kind of set in stone in some respects. It's the opening drive at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll
just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism, and then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we could see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
mean, Ramos' hand.
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer.
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji. Into Watson with the jam.
Far ball again. Another steal by Davina Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. The lob to Agbaiosi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
All right, so Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, and Ohio State. 1, 2, 3, 4 college football playoff. After that, it's Texas A&M, and JJ, your point's not wrong on A&M. They've been sitting at 5, and what is it they've done? Iowa State, who's playing for the Big 12 championship, and then Florida, and the Florida thing is the one that just blows your mind. Florida is the one where you sit there and just go, wait a minute. They lost to a 3-5 football team at home as 23-point favorites the other day. Like, if anybody, what if SC would have lost to a 23-point favorite at home and lost to, I don't know, give me a name. There's nothing that compares because you had to be a big name brand that's not having a good season. Stanford, right? Would have lost to Stanford at home by whatever because the kid threw a shoe, but they lost that game before that. SC would have fallen to 22. Just above San Jose State, by the way, who's in at 24, and good for the Spartans and what Brent Brennan's done there. A&M, their one loss is Alabama. They lost 52-24 to Alabama. Their best win is Florida, 41-38. Then they beat up on Mississippi State and Arkansas and South Carolina, and they got the coach fired and beat LSU. Like, I got it. It's the SEC, and they beat Auburn and got another coach fired. I mean, I get it. It's the SEC. And I give you credit. I'm telling you the SEC is better than most leagues. But none of those teams are incredibly strong this year. The strongest team they played blew them out of the building. The next team they beat by 3. And yeah, they're good. Yeah, they're good. But this would be the year, JJ, as much as everybody wants to scream to me, and you're not totally wrong, that this would be the year to try the 8 team. This would also be the year to let in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I want to agree with that, but that is the one thing this committee will never do. And it will never give a group of 5 team a chance like that because of perception of power conference teams. The schedule has just got to be so much tougher. All right, you might have a few more marquee games on it, but we know top to bottom, every power conference is not just that much better than these group of 5 teams because there's still teams like Kansas and Vanderbilt at the bottom of these conferences in Arizona that are coming in there. So just because you play in a power conference, it doesn't make you the best thing since sliced bread. But it's one that you see rankings this season in which it would make sense for those teams to be higher. It would make sense for them to be closer, and they're still not. It's pretty cut and dry though. The top 4 teams are set, assuming we've we just think Clemson is going to beat Notre Dame just because. I think that's going to be another great game in the ACC championship game, and that's the one area you look at and say, all right, a 2-loss Clemson is jumped by who?
So who, if Clemson gets beat by Notre Dame, this is the only place for I guess Northwestern could beat Ohio State, but I don't think that happens. Clemson beats Notre Dame, or I'm sorry, Notre Dame beats Clemson, so Clemson's theoretically out. Or are they, as a 2-loss team, as good as a 2-loss? Is it Iowa State? Who's next in? Are you putting in A&M, who didn't play in a championship game? Are you putting in Florida, who's next? They'd presumably be a 3-loss team. First of all, is Florida in if they beat Alabama? Does Florida get in the college football playoff as a 2-loss team that just lost to LSU and beat Alabama?
I think what you have to answer then is, are you going to say, is that the best win of the football season? And is that enough?
But it would be the best win of the football season.
Win of the football season to put them in.
All right, but they've got the worst loss than anybody in the top 7, right? They would have the worst loss also. Correct?
Yes.
And who you putting him in over? If Notre Dame wins, I'm sorry, if Clemson wins, who are you putting him in over?
Because I don't think I don't think Alabama would drop out in that scenario.
No, Alabama's not dropping out. That's my point.
Yeah.
So who's Florida going in over? The issue is if Clemson has their second loss. If Clemson loses twice, if there are only 2 losses to Notre Dame, is that more impressive than what Florida had with a win over Alabama but a loss to LSU? Would it be more impressive than a Texas A&M, whose 1 loss was to Alabama? Would it be more impressive than an Iowa State, who lost to Oklahoma State, or an Oklahoma? I mean, I guess this thing's cut and dry, right? I mean, Clemson wins, you're set, you're solid, you're done.
Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State win, and our 4-team playoff is set.
Yeah. What did you think of San Jose State getting a little love? I thought that was great. I thought it was actually a little overdue. And I think they're going to beat Boise State, by the way. I think they're going to win the conference championship. I think they're a better team than Boise State. They're hosting it in Sam Boyd Stadium. Of course they are. But I like San Jose State. I haven't even seen a line on that game. I'm going to assume that Boise State is the favorite on it. But I'm glad they got that love. Good for that program. Good for Brent Brennan. They're the laughing stock of this league. Like, even my daughter's like, Dad, does San Jose State do anything? Are they ever any good at in anything in this league? Boise State's a 6.5-point favorite. Good for them. Do you like Boise State this week, or do you like San Jose State?
I like San Jose State, but I always have this feeling when it comes to Boise State. Anytime you think it's like to count against them, or it's going to be someone else's time, they rise to the occasion. I want to see San Jose State win it. I think a lot of it is the Brian Harsin comments. Like, I get you're rallying for your squad, but the Mountain West has been so good to that school. And for you to just think you are so much better than the conference just irritates me with how he handled this entire situation. So I'm going to be Team San Jose State this weekend. And I think they give Boise State a great game, because San Jose State has been very good defensively this year. And that's where they've made their mark. That's where they've changed games. You go back to the Nevada contest, they were trailing at halftime, and the defense made Carson Strong's life so difficult in that second half. And I think that's what gives them a chance in this contest, is the way they play defense. And, oh, by the way, they still got some playmakers in Walker and Gaither on the outside. I'd take San Jose State.
Yeah, I like San Jose State too. All right. What are your thoughts on the CFP? We're going to get more into Lobo football as well. Lobo basketball beats Our Lady of the Lake, 104-65. And boy, do you have a Mega Max deal. What does Mega Max mean for one of the mega stars in the NBA? It's monopoly money to you and me. Probably pretty real to them. A gigantic contract. I think it is. I mean, you know where I stand on these. Are you awed by this deal, or is it just all right? That's what they get.
Stay tuned.
It's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
With Allstate, you can really save. New ways to.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
As Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. An 8. 2 receivers at the top. Harris has all day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man. Touchdown. Wildcats. Not a defender inside. A little bit. Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late to third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabbed. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what
Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Two-way tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another one.
steal at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball line. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
The Greek Freak got paid. The Bank of the Greek Freak, or you could call it the Bank of Antetokounmpo. Whatever you want, man. I mean, he can, like I don't know. I don't know what's a lot of money to y'all. I don't. But he came out and said, this is my home. This is my city. I'm blessed to be able to be a part of the Milwaukee Bucks for the next 5 years. Let's make these years count. The show goes on. Let's get it. 5 years, $228 million. I mean, I like 200. That's 45 and a half, $45.6 million a year. God bless him. That's a lot of money. He's really good. He's really good. That's a super max deal. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, Alden, and Josh. You can watch on ProView Networks and listen on 95.9 FM and AM 610 The Sports Animal. JJ, he's really good. He's a freak. I think he's getting better. I think at some point he's going to take a team to the finals. He hasn't done well in the postseason, but he's really, really good. They had to keep him. They had to spend market value. I get market value. That's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, but he's one of the 5 best players in the NBA right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what it costs to keep a franchise superstar. It's what it costs to stay relevant. And for Giannis, it is about, in the postseason, can you be a half-court playmaker? His numbers are outrageous. You look at it across the board, what he's done in the postseason, but he's lost to the 2 teams the last 2 years that have gotten in the NBA Finals. Of course, it was Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors 2 years ago. They lost in the Eastern Conference Finals and then got beat in the semifinals to the Heat this season. This is one where this team is good enough. They have to be in the Eastern Conference Finals to give themselves a chance to go to the NBA Finals. You have Giannis, who's a league MVP, who is an absolute freak when it comes to what he does on the basketball court. You have Jrue Holiday, you have Chris Middleton. That is good enough. You should be in the Eastern Conference Finals. No ifs, ands, or buts, and competing for the NBA Finals now with this roster. Because you look at the Eastern Conference, it's stout. It's solid. We know Philadelphia has the talent. Are they going to ever put it together in the basketball court? Boston, you trust them to be there. Miami, Toronto. And by the way, the team that, if all goes well, probably should be playing Milwaukee in Eastern Conference Finals is Brooklyn. So it's a talented conference. There's stars to challenge Giannis, but his team at least has to be in the Eastern Conference Finals this season, because that means you have a chance to go to the NBA Finals.
This is the first time in a decade we're having this conversation about the East, right? I mean, it's the first time. When was the last time you told me you could give me 4 to 5 legitimate contenders in the East? First of all, LeBron was there for over a decade, and so it was LeBron and maybe who's going to challenge him. But to your point, I think Brooklyn is the front runner. I think Brooklyn, just because Kevin Durant is there and seemingly healthy, and Kyrie Irving is there, and what they put together around them, I think Brooklyn is the front runner. But you have to say Brooklyn, and in no particular order, Brooklyn and Milwaukee, I think at the top. Do you remember who played in the NBA championships? I mean, you've got to consider Miami in this, because I think they're going to get better. They just signed Bam Adebayo. I think Toronto is still a legitimate contender. Philadelphia is absolutely a contender, and I think you've got to consider Boston as a contender. Those are 6, I think, frontline contenders. I think Indiana is still going to be good. I think Washington's going to be really interesting, and so and Atlanta's going to get better. So I think you've got 6 legitimate contenders in the East, and I can't tell you I've said that or anybody said that, JJ, since you and I have been doing this show together.
Yeah, it's teams that are going to make it really difficult in the Eastern Conference. I think I do agree. As I said, I think Brooklyn and Milwaukee are a step above, and then Boston, Miami, you know what you're getting in those series. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be really tough. They're talented teams. You have an emerging upper echelon star in Jason Tatum on the Celtics, plus all the other pieces that they have in place. And even without Gordon Hayward, I don't think that hurts them all that much with what they do. Miami is going to run it back. They're a team that, to your point, they didn't get any worse. So Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, those guys should just be better, or at least be able to maintain that consistency as they move on in their NBA career. And Toronto's one that I think they're a step behind all those teams, just talent-wise. I think Pascal Siakam, it's another big year for him to have that consistency across the board in the postseason. But they're still really good. Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam. Yeah, that's a team that's taking you quite a ways in the postseason.
And a really good coach. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Headed up to Taos Valley for the day.
Damn. How come, what I love about this time of year? Everybody's cruising towards the holidays. It's like bull season for me, where I've never been busier, and everybody's going skiing and playing golf and screwing around. I love it. Enjoy it up there.
Thanks. Not much else to do. Giannis, I guess good for him, but that kind of money is, to me, just unbelievably stupid. And I don't know what it does to your teammates and the chemistry on the team when somebody sees you making that much money and them not. But that's pro ball. This whole college playoff thing, you knew that when the Power 5 conferences, and by the way, they keep insisting that, this Sarah Fuller is the first one to score.
I know, it bothers me.
Division I football is Division I football, and to not recognize Katie Nida and the other gal is just, it's rude, and it's unacceptable. And all 3 should be recognized for their exploits. But to just keep insisting that she's the first Power 5. I thought UNM played in the same division. It was all Division I football when Katie scored. I don't know when we started this Power 5 nonsense, but they're showing exactly what the Power 5 is. A bunch of corrupt people who just gerrymander the polls to get the teams in that they want. 2 minutes. Why don't you just at the beginning of the year say, hey, we're going to select the 4 teams, and you guys could just go stuff it.
Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and somebody.
Than this, this machinations every week and denying Central Florida. And if a team beats everybody in front of them to go undefeated, it shouldn't be any different than any other conference. But, that's what the Power 5s do. And, hey, I'm an alumni of a Power 5 member, Michigan, and I guarantee you I'd like UNM to get a crack at Michigan this year. I think UNM could beat them the way they play football. Yeah. And so this idea that because you're Power 5, you're better, like Danny said yesterday, next time you want a game with us, to tune up for your Power 5 games, maybe the price goes up. And if all the non-Power 5 schools got together and said, here's the price ticket from now on to play you guys in your stadium, and it's non-negotiable, and we're all in on this, it would be a major blow to those people's egos, but it would equalize the playing field. From now on, it's $2.5 million to go play Notre Dame in their stadium. From now on, it's $2.5 million. And if all the non-power schools could get together and not crack, that's the whole problem is one athletic director will say, well, I really like 1.8 million better.
Yeah.
But something has to be done. It's not fair.
No, it's not fair, and it's never been fair, and I'm sure it never will. All right, enjoy it up there. Be safe and have fun. A beautiful day up there. Man, I'm just going to tell you, it's going to be clear and cold and beautiful with fresh pow up there at Taos Ski Valley. Like, how killer would today be? Just with some tunes and a little something in your pocket to keep you warm and. Forgetting about the college football playoffs. Just get upset on the way up there and get out there and just go, yeah, life is good. Look at what Mama Nature gave us today. JJ, point is, and he's right, it's not fair. I don't know that it was intended to be fair. It was intended to give you a little peace. You want this piece or you want no peace? I mean, that's kind of what was offered. And so that's why the group took it. And that's what they got, because they don't have the power. That's why Power 5 is the term. It's where the power lies. They're going to let you play in their game, and they're going to somewhat create the terms. Danny's right. Rudy's right as far as getting together and driving up the price. But other than that, I don't know that it was intended to be fair. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, Alden, and Josh producing on the ProView side. They look really busy this morning on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili, breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
As Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. today. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man, touchdown, Wildcats. Not a defender inside.
65, your New Mexico Lobos beat our lady, not your lady, not my lady, but our Lady of the Lake. Next up, La Torno tomorrow. Yep, so Lobos have joined NAIA Division, whatever. They're going to play in that Red River League. I'm kidding. Stop it. It's 2020. It's how it is, man. Go out and beat teams. And JJ, they played a team that was smaller than them, forced them to play maybe a little different than they're going to have to play on a regular basis. They excelled last night against a certainly inferior team, beat them by 39 points, got a lot of combinations, 16 players played, and got done what they needed to get done. They'll get another tune-up, and then they'll go up to Boise and start league play on Monday.
Edward on the line.
Yeah, and this is one where you want to be respectful of your opponent, and that's why Paul Weir said they were speedy, because they're just short. So he's like, yeah, we played a speedy team. You weren't pulling the wool over anyone's eyes. We got it. We
They're
knew this
really
was
fast, he said, I think.
Our
Really
Lady of the Lake was going to be overmatched, and it was going to be a long night for them, and just opponents needed for Lobo basketball. Who wants to come get run off the court? All right, we'll do it. We'll get some some run for our guys, as well as it's been so difficult just to find basketball games for a team that is living on the road that doesn't quite yet have a set schedule, which they will finally get to next week.
Yeah, yes, next week we'll start getting into it. All right, we've been talking about college football playoff, the standings, signing days today for Lobo football. Danny Gonzalez will be with us tomorrow. So tomorrow, 8 o'clock, Danny Gonzalez, 8:30, Jerry Palm. Giannis Antetokounmpo signs a super max, not just a max deal. Now this is no. Like when you go to your favorite fast food restaurant and you say, "Give me the max deal," and they give you like more fries than you can do to yourself, and
size,
yeah, this is super max. So this is like the dude's going, I'm gonna get out of here before you change your mind. Like the dude in the Whopper commercial. You mean I got 2 Whopper for $5? This is like super Whopper, like 3 patties and 3 things of cheese and like 8 buns and a vat of fries.
You can't say no to it. $268 million. And you're still a good basketball team, but so much of the NBA in everyone's minds is if you don't win a championship, you're a failure. You're not any good. And that hangs over the head of the elite players in that league, and then it pisses people off when they go join another good player to win a championship, because then fans are like, whoa. That's not the way you're supposed to win a championship. We do not like the route that you took to win a championship. But then if you don't win a championship, you're not any good in those people's minds. Right. So it's like, what are we trying to do here? For Giannis, it's one where the team is good enough. As I said, they should be on the doorstep of the NBA Finals with him and who they have. And it's also one where you don't have to necessarily worry too much about, how are we going to sign another max player? Because there's always a Kawhi Leonard situation. You can always find someone who's not happy somewhere else. And if it's a 1-year rental, so be it. How'd that work out for the Toronto Raptors? They won an NBA championship. There's always something you can do with your roster, even when you have a max player, that's going to keep you competitive, that's going to give you a chance. That's what I look at with this Milwaukee situation right now. They're a good basketball team. Say 3-4 years, something pops up where a star wants a chance to win. Boom, bring him in for a year rental, see what happens. Great move for the Milwaukee Bucks. Good for basketball, as the East should be competitive as we ran down those teams. And by the way, you still have the champs out West with the dude who doesn't seem to age, LeBron James.
Yeah. And you have Golden State, and you have the Clippers, and you have Phoenix getting better. Portland's going to be good. Dallas is going to be good. Utah's going to be good. Denver's going to be good. New Orleans is building something with one of the most dynamic players in the league. Like all of a sudden, there's a lot of places you go, well, you can make a case for all of them. It's still LA. It's still the Lakers, because to your point, that guy is still there. This guy loves that guy. Edward, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir.
Again, it's such an honor to be on the hotline. I appreciate the time, the ability to share thoughts. One thing about this current situation we're in, there's always a propensity to learn, a capacity to learn. A couple of weeks ago, I found out that New Mexico State beat Benedict Arnold on the court. Last night, the Lobos beat Our Lady of the Worthless Miracle. And you could just learn so much about the smaller colleges in this country. You know what I think, Jeff and JJ? I got a little bit of time coming off work, in the next few weeks. I think we should join forces and have Caucasian team 5'10" to 6 foot, because I know JJ is probably a little bit taller than you and I. Get a couple other guys together, Howard, and make a run and put a team together. Put a little bit of money in our pockets because the 5-star picks haven't delivered this year, and go on tour. I really believe it. I think there's a unique opportunity here. Did you see that meme of James Harden and a couple of other players about how much weight he's gained? It looked like he'd been training on Mad Dog 2020 and bad pizza. My man must have put on at least 25 pounds, and he is rather thick. He could probably start for the Houston Texans this weekend on the offensive line. But still hitting jumpers, going through the legs, and calling his own shots there in Houston until they trade him. That was interesting. Rudy brought up a very interesting point. Last night I was watching Real Sports on HBO, which I believe is a very well thought out, well directed, well produced show. And one of their, they did a 2020 year in review, with this whole COVID situation. And one of the threads they were on was the Power Five is going to secede from the NCAA and do their own thing from a football perspective, not from a basketball, which, again, I've been preaching for about a decade now. And they said, hey, they have all the leverage, they have all the power, and they're kind of do whatever they want to do, and they think it's going to happen quick, at least from their perspective.
Who's they?
Rudy.
Who are these experts? Who are the experts on this?
It was the HB. It's Gumbel and their
right.
and
so
it was really good. You guys should watch.
And when they say secede,
I'm sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
When you say secede, does that mean what does that mean? They go on their own. They're going to take their own NCAA tournament. They're going to go. They're not going to play the New Mexicos and the San Diego States of the world, or they're going to go and do their own thing, but throw some crumbs. Like secede is such a. I hear this all the time, and what does it mean? They're going to go. These 60 schools are just going to go do their own thing. They're never going to play Our Lady of the Lake, let alone New Mexico and New Mexico State. But I mean, they're going to do their own championship tournament for basketball, or is this just football?
Good clarifying question and great prelude to my next thought, which Rudy expanded on. They were advocating that they were only going to do it in football, which they succinctly stated. When I say secede, they're going to get out from underneath the NCAA banner because, Jeff, quite honestly, they have their own television networks. They have their own fan bases. Obviously, every team has its own fan base, and I believe they're going to elect to say, "Hey, we're pulling out from the governing body of the NCAA, and we're going to do our own thing." Case in point, Cincinnati didn't even play this weekend, and they moved down in the rankings to get into the. And other teams that lost moved up in the rankings. So in the presence of chaos, I think people are kind of do their own thing. Now, regarding your basketball, they did not advocate that they were going to do it in basketball. Now, Rudy's point this morning was genius. It's all about leverage. And now those that are not in the Power Five have leverage now and say, okay, you need filler spots on your schedule. Yeah. Now the cost is no longer $1.1 million.
That's right.
Now it's $2.5 to $3 million. If you need filler spots to fill your stadium and get a W, now it's going to cost you $3.5 million. And quite honestly, under that model, it might actually work better for people. And then you just do a different level of championship for the non-5. Which, by the way, in college football, there's already different levels of championships.
That's
There's
right.
nothing wrong with it.
Always has been.
All starts. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
No, always has been. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
No, you're right. There always has been, and we root for South Dakota State and North Dakota State and all these other schools. And Highlands University plays in a different conference or a different level, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be propagated by insecurity in your organization and your entity. You just have to read the environment and understand changes are coming, and that's okay, right? I totally agree with that. The other thing, real quickly, I've also advocated that the NFL is going to expand their landscape throughout the week. I've been saying this for a while because it drives the country from a sports perspective, from betting and popularity. This model this year, however they played on Tuesday nights or Wednesday nights or whatever, I believe that in the near future the NFL is going to expand their landscape. And they're going to go into maybe a Tuesday night game or maybe a Friday night game. And I know it competes with other entities, but I think we're in an environment where people don't care. They're going to protect their own, and they're going to say, hey, if we go up against you, case in point, there's NFL games this Saturday with all the college championship games. There's NFL games next Saturday. And I just think they're gonna increase their footprint and play whenever they want, however they want.
Yeah.
In that capacity. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I appreciate you letting me share them, and I know
Thanks.
you probably have an opposing view, but that's why we have this show, so we can just express our thoughts.
No,
thank you very much. Have a
All right,
delightful
so
day.
it's going to be interesting to see how the NFL does, and I think they'll do well. They're playing 2 games Saturday. They've got the Chargers and Raiders are tomorrow. Bills and Broncos in the 2:30 our time window, and then the Panthers and Packers. I think the Panthers and Packers are against the SEC championships in primetime, right? Interested to see how Alabama, Florida does against the Panthers and Packers.
Yeah, and this would, in a normal year, you'd be outside of those championship windows for Saturday.
It'd be bowls. Yeah, it'd be the first week of the bowl season.
So, I would be at the New Mexico Bowl instead of watching an NFL football game on Saturday in a normal season. But so I wouldn't put too much stock into what is happening up with the calendar this season, because it's still about inventory. What are you paying for? And there's television contracts in place with these major television networks to run these college football games. So I don't think we're going to see an influx on Saturday. Maybe it is a Tuesday night game or a Friday night game. But when you look at what ESPN just paid for SEC football, they're not going to counter with an NFL game on any of their networks on a Saturday moving forward.
Yeah, and I don't know that they've got a big appetite to go into Tuesday night football and take over the world in that respect. Next week they're not doing Thursday night; they're doing Friday football. They're doing a game on Christmas Day, the Vikings and the Saints, because they wanted no part of going up against the New Mexico Bowl on Christmas Eve, which I understand, right? I mean, I get that, and then they saw New Mexico Bowl on Christmas Eve. We're getting out of the way. No, and I get that. Tongue firmly planted in cheek for those of you who are not on the visual medium. All right, back to the phones because it's good conversation. 505-246-0610. Got to hit this break, and we got 2 lines open. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Discover matches all the cash back you...
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
As Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. 1st and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, And Chavez
Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out! See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man, touchdown, wild catch. Not a defender inside. A little bit. Kowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24, Rancho, late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
So, Edward had a lot of points in there. I think at some point, and I know there's been a lot of talk this year about the Power 5 seceding. I just don't think it's happening in the immediate. I know a lot of other people do. A lot of, a nice lid, kid. I know a lot of people do. I'm just not there yet. Are you thinking COVID accelerated that process and that's going to happen? And we're going to go hear what Jared has to say here in a minute.
It's more of what does that plan look like? Do they want to just bounce off, do their own thing, keep everything Power 5 versus Power 5, and then create their own 4 and or 8-team playoff? Because money-wise, they're doing pretty good, and it's not necessarily like the NCAA is hoarding everything from these conferences. I just want to know what is the thinking beyond it for what the framework of that would look like for the Power 5.
Yeah. All right, Jared, thanks for holding. You are on the Quan's Auto Care hotline. What's good, Jared?
Yo, good morning. I'm sipping mimosas in a big hot tub.
Damn.
Making my $1 million picks for this weekend. And I just want to say, everyone such as myself, we don't really care anymore what team does what or whatever. We're just looking out for ourselves week to week, game to game, who's going to score the most and put that green in our bank account. So what I'm saying is the NFL should realize that is the future, because I do not care if you give me a New York Giants jersey or a Kansas City Chiefs jersey. I'm rooting for whoever is my point multiplier tonight, and so on and so on. And that is it. And with that being said, the NFL should shorten the season and lengthen the amount of time in the games. And that would capitalize how much money they make, because a lot of these games at the end of the season are inconsequential. And these players know it. They are ballers. They have cash, and they do not need to put their bodies on the line for a bozo draft pick. And they're not going to. They'll never go on record saying it, but they're not going to. So I would rather there be 12 or 13 or whatever games. Once the playoff picture is pretty much decided, just trash the rest of the games. Close them down, shut them down. They're inconsequential. If you're not in a position for it to matter, too bad, so sad. It's a lotto pick for all you teams that lost and didn't get in the playoffs.
Thanks, Jared. Look, JJ, I'm going to tell you there's a lot of people who have that perspective. Now, they're not cutting it to 12 or 13 games, because whether or not these games are inconsequential or not over the next 3 weeks, people are watching. And so they're not going to give back 3 or 4 weeks worth of television money to the networks. That's where they're paying these guys. So they're not going to give that back. And you'll still get action on these games. You're going to still play. There's a lot more people like him right now that don't have a team, that can care less. This week his team is going to be the Giants and the Bears and the Rams and the Saints. And next week it'll be the 49ers and the Vikings and the Packers and the Steelers. Like it doesn't matter. Whoever he's holding a ticket for. And by the way, that's healthy for the league because that's what has made this league so popular. It is the most popular game to bet on, football, NFL, and then college football. I know a lot of people make money betting baseball. The guys who bet baseball and have it figured out actually do really, really, really well. But it is, there's a ton of guys like that, and that's why that league is so beyond popular.
It's the next horizon for all of sports, betting, fantasy sports. It brings you into the game differently because there's a lot of football games you'd have no interest in watching, but you want to watch because you know the lines. You have a wide receiver on your fantasy team that is playing, and it, like you said, it is good for sport. And there are so many people like that. You know, I am one of those that I'm going to watch regardless, but I definitely gravitate towards daily fantasy, my fantasy team, and it adds a different dynamic to the sporting weekend, and that is only going to grow and not go away. You know, there's a reason every time you see a scoreboard, you know the line and the total.
Yeah.
Like every scoreboard, it has the line and the total with it, and as we see more and more states legalize it, it's just going to become more and more available. There you go.
So the leagues have embraced it, or at least have begun to embrace it. The networks have certainly embraced it. They realize what that content does for them and how to capitalize it. They've got betting-driven shows, right? All these guys in Vegas telling you what to pick, which I always wonder about those and where these guys are coming from. But you've got all these shows that are about it. He's not wrong, man. And everybody can pick up a phone if you want to, and you can place a bet. Or 15. I played golf with a guy, obviously it wasn't this April. It was either March, 2 Marches ago or 3 Marches ago. And we were having lunch. Good friend of mine. And he said, who do you like? You know, and he asked me it was conference tournament week. Ball State -6 over Western Michigan, 6.5 basketball. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm going to go with Western Michigan. I like the points on this. All right, here's one. Big East. You like Providence plus 4.5 over Seton Hall. Oh, I like Seton Hall. Yeah, me too. All right, and he asked me like 15 games. I'm like, what are you doing? And then after every shot, he's checking his phone. He had like 30 bets going, right? But that's people. He's not like this anomaly. That's the world. And he's looking at his after every shot, going back to his phone, and he's killing it. Now, I'm sure he doesn't show me when he's not killing it, but he was killing it then, right? Yeah. That's how it is, man. And to your point, I don't even know if it's emerging. I think it's emerged. I think it's been here. People have been betting, you know, since before me, and it's become it's kind of like the marijuana thing in some respects. I mean, when it's become legal in so many places that the stigma is come off of it. You're not some degenerate. You're not some loser if you do that, right? And whether you're doing it at Isleta or you're doing it on your phone, as long as you're doing it and you're able to pay your bills and still feed your kids, I think it's become over the last, and I'll say relatively recently, JJ, over the last 3-4 years, way more accepted than certainly it had been in the past.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the taboo sense of it has gone because the leagues have embraced it. It's become more widely available to people, and you realize that the whole game fixing situation, that's what everyone was scared of, right? Well, if you start more people gamble, well then you're just gonna have everyone throwing games, everyone shaving points here or there, and that hasn't been the case. Are there going to be situations that arise? As with anything, yeah, but it hasn't been one where now all of a sudden you watch sports and it's a terrible product because of what we see when it comes to gambling and fantasy sports.
Yeah. All right. 505-246-0610. I got a bunch of emails on all over the place. Lars told me I stole that line coming out of the last segment when I said, they're staying away from the New Mexico Bowl. He said, you stole that line, Hefe, back in the days when the legendary Bob Brinker was on the big stick. He used to say the post-time of Super Bowl kept getting pushed back so it wouldn't have to compete with his Money Talk program over on KKOB. All right, I didn't know that. I don't know that the line was incredibly original, but if it was his, it's his. I'll give full credit to Bob Brinker, JJ. Bob Brinker. All right, look at you representing. You're going with the Central Michigan New Mexico Bowl shirt, the New Mexico Bowl beer. It's good representation. A week from tomorrow we kick off, bro. A week from tomorrow, Houston and Hawaii. Looking forward to that. Bowl season will get started now, on Monday, I guess, with the cancellation yesterday, the Frisco Bowl. That was a bummer, huh? SMU had an outbreak, and they had to cancel that. They were able to put UTSA in the the Serve Pro First Responders Bowl over in Dallas and move things around. I got emails for you. I'm going to read your opinions. I want to hear from you at 505-246-0610. We're on the NFL. We're on college football playoff and how Florida doesn't slide. Giannis making a mint. I got all kinds of stuff for you. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Totally forgot to read the new mail right there.
You may see a little bit of slowdowns if you are headed.
Call it as Pavi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man, touchdown, Wildcats. Not a defender inside. A little bit. Kowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Grabs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass. gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
And he's gonna fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Heavyweight tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question.
All right, I got one for you. I got one on betting, but I got to wait for JJ to get back because he'll miss the story. But we're talking about sports betting and what how it's just become more accepted. By the way, has anyone else look? I saw the trailer for Cobra Kai the next season. Do you watch Cobra Kai? I know Alden does. I think Josh does. Have you watched it yet, Micah? You got do you not like it? Obviously, you got this. You're not all that.
Oh yeah, I love
big
it.
on it.
No, I love it.
What'd you guys think of the trailer for the next season? Because I thought I knew where it was going to go, and now I'm not sure. I think it, like Cobra Kai. For those of you who don't know, Cobra Kai is Karate Kid 30 years later, essentially. It's Johnny and Daniel-san, and they grew up, and Daniel-san became this big car dealer in the Valley, and Johnny's been struggling ever since Daniel-san beat him in the Valley Championship 30 years ago, and he's living in this apartment, and he can't drink enough banquet beer. By the way, banquet beer just is, I mean, the product placement in that thing is unbelievable. But it's Karate Kid 30 years later. But what do you guys think of the trailer? Because I can't wait now. All I do is tell her, can we watch Cobra Kai? She's like, it's over. It's done. Not until January. I'm like, can we watch Cobra Kai? Can we watch Cobra Kai? Do you guys see the trailer? All right. I can't hear Alden. He's trying to talk, but I can't hear him. All right. Anyway, check out. Have you watched it yet, JJ?
No, I haven't even watched the original Karate Kid movies, so I guess I could get into it, but I missed out on the storyline?
No, yeah, at the house we have a Days 2 Cobra Kai, like Days Out, so we're all excited about it at my house for sure.
So do you think you had to have watched Karate Kid? It helps, right? Because there's a lot of Karate Kid references in there throughout each episode, and there's flashbacks to Mr. Miyagi and all that. You might be the only person I know that hasn't seen Karate Kid, for that matter.
Yeah. That's my thing. Like, you definitely have to go back and check out the 3 Karate Kid movies. They're going to play a big deal, especially Karate Kid, the second movie, number 2, is going to play a big factor in this next upcoming season.
It's Cobra Kai is awesome. All right, it's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah's producing on the radio side, and that's Alden and Josh. They're on the TV side. So, JJ, I got a text. Funniest story, this is local. When they legalized sports gambling at Isleta, I had a group of friends. We were just over there having some beers, hanging out in the sports bar, and I see one of the pastors of my kid's school running down the lane trying to get down on one of the games before it kicked off. That was hilarious. 75-year-old teacher running down to get down on the Dallas game, sings the national anthem at all sporting events, running in trying to meet the deadline of the kickoff. It was epic. See, and this is, and that's everybody's embraced this. Everybody's in it, and there's the pastor chugging down to get down on the Cowboy game. It's probably betting against him, I'm gonna guess.
Got to get that bread.
Yeah, that's where we are, man. That's where we are. All right, 505-246-0610. That's how you can get in. 888-922-0610. Why did I just get locked out? I just signed in, man. I was gonna read you my emails, but. All right, let me prove this again, because I just did. You can send me the emails, Jeff@610K. What is it? Jeff@610KNML.com, right? Is that my email address?
Yes.
And you're JJ@610KNML.com. All right, you got a bunch of them coming in. Boy, I sure don't get this, Jeff. This is from Carl. Hey, I'll get them to you. They're loading. I'm having my IT issues, JJ. I'm having my IT issues. What do I get tomorrow night? We got NFL tomorrow night on the Sports Animal. What's Thursday night football? It's the Raiders, right?
Raiders and the Chargers.
That's tomorrow. So Derek Carr on a short week. Josh, can your dang Chargers step up maybe and hold them to 13 points and quiet?
See, because it has fantasy implications.
No, that's exactly right.
That is why we want to watch this game. Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Hunter Henry, maybe some Keenan Allen. Big-time playoff implications.
Because why else do I care about the Chargers and the Raiders, Josh?
Because the Chargers would give you a show. You don't know if they're going to win in the last minute. You don't know if they're going to lose in the last minute.
I got a pretty good idea. I got a pretty good idea.
No, man. They changed it last game. The Falcons last week. Sorry, the Falcons out-Chargers the Chargers. That tipped the boat. Now the Chargers are going to start picking people off in the last second. Badgley's actually going to start making field goals.
No,
Anthony Lynn saves his job. It's the end of 2020.
On the next season of Cobra Kai, Anthony, stop it. Get off your mic.
Sound like a Cowboy fan.
Right?
Keeping your hopes up.
That's all I got, man. After Florida lost, that's all I had. I have nothing left, so I got to root for the Chargers to do something.
All right. First of all, the Falcons have been Charger-like. Do you remember how the Falcons lost to the Cowboys this year? Do you remember when the Cowboys started 1-4 and their one win was that come from ahead and the Falcons just gave them a game? It's not like the Falcons don't do that too, although they hadn't done it since they fired their coach. I mean, the Chargers got a takeaway in the last minute. Falcons were going down to stick it to the Chargers again last Sunday, and Chargers got a takeaway and were able to pull it off. But I don't know, any chance for me on the Chargers tomorrow night slowing down Derek Carr?
It's tough to say, man. No. I mean, not if they come out angry, but I mean, the Chargers, their secondary has been horrible all year.
It's not like the Raiders have been killing this lately. Now,
yeah, I know, but
let's be real.
The Chargers seem to make mediocrity look great. So Derek Carr is going to look great.
Yeah, fair enough. That sucks. But it is, JJ. And that's why I brought it up. It is the point. What do we care about? Give me my fantasy team. Give me who I'm betting for. Give me my office pool. I mean, that's how Linda in accounting cares about. I mean, every week we get that email from the doggy, the pool that goes around the office, right? Yeah, the fur ball pool, and who wins it? Candy Cruise every damn week, right?
Pretty good streak.
Yeah, I mean that's what I see every week.
The question, but
yeah, but that's what the beauty is of the National Football. That's what they've grasped, and they did it initially because it was once a week. It was Sunday plus the Monday game. Then they added the Thursday. This is why I don't think Edwards right. This is why I don't think they're looking to take over Tuesday nights and they're looking to go after every Saturday. I just don't, because I've told you, I don't need the Thursday night football. I've come around to ingesting it. I don't need Thursday night NFL. I don't think the games are particularly great, although they've gotten better. I think we've gotten over that. I think the matches have been better. But what made them so great is this, okay, it's not every day. Baseball is every day, right? Baseball, and we don't have the urgency of baseball. Now, not every team plays every day. Every team plays once a week still. But I don't think that football is looking to take over every single night of the week in the NFL. I just don't. I think they've got 3 nights now. They've got Sunday, Monday, and Thursday.
Yeah, and ultimately the reality of it is you're invested in TV contracts for college athletics, and you just aren't going to start blowing those up to play a Panthers-Packers game on a Saturday. Like, in normal circumstances, we wouldn't be going up against championship games, but this year is different. So I think, to your point, the NFL is pretty stable where they are. They know it can work if they have to do it. And I think, to your point on the Thursday games, teams understand how to prepare. They realize, you know what, if we don't practice, it's not the end of the world, because you just can't practice in a short week. And so they're just doing recovery, getting as healthy as possible to make those games as competitive as possible now.
Yeah, I think those have come a long way. JJ, first couple of years, I mean, the majority of them, not all of them, you can always point me out a good game. The majority of them were bad football games. Sloppy, there were injuries, and you're right. They figured it out. And so we've had some good Thursday night games. tomorrow night's probably going to be entertaining. I mean, here's the deal. The majority of the NFL games, are good, competitive games. The majority of games are within a one-score margin. Not all of them, but the majority of them are. And so Thursday night falls into that. But they've been better played games on the national scale. And so I figured that. But, I mean, do you think they really want to start to go playing on Tuesday and Wednesday? I don't
think so, because then you are injecting more hurdles into the schedule.
No, I don't think they do. I think they're in a good place. They know they're in a good place. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It's about them. I think the NFL's made it very clear. It can be when you're the king, when you're the giant, when you're the 100-pound gorilla. It can be about you. I don't think they're worried about getting out of the way of college football or getting out of the way of anybody else. I think they're pretty good where they are. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Who belongs to Kirtland Federal Credit Union? You do. Kirtland Federal Credit Union welcomes Albuquerque. If you're a hiker, a biker, an I-40 driver, Kirtland Federal Credit Union is for you. For more than 60 years now, Kirtland Federal Credit Union has been a fixture for those who live on, work on, support Kirtland Air Force Base. That includes active duty military, National Guard, base government employees, contractors, employees and their families, and now they welcome you to share in their success. Take a look at what they've got to offer. Go to kirtlandfcu.org and become a member today. That's kirtlandfcu.org. Kirtland Federal Credit Union. They are more than military. They are for life. Kirtland Federal Credit Union is the equal housing lender federally insured by the NCUA.
Safe.
As Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. An 8. 2 receivers at the top. Harris has all day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man. Touchdown. Wildcats. Not a defender inside. A little bit. Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
I'll just get a little little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what
Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
And he's gonna fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh! Ho, ho, ho!
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
All right, JJ, I got a couple questions. Ralph just said, where is Lobo basketball playing their Mountain West Conference home games? Is it Loveland, Texas? Is that what we, or they put in for that? Do we know the answer to that yet? Is that solid?
We don't have a concrete answer to that.
So the women either, right? Or the women's going to play, the women's. I mean, they're here's what I know. They're not playing in the pit.
Yep.
So we were talking about Vegas. We were talking. Didn't I see? And look, I fully admit I've been kind of engulfed in bull world, but didn't I see something that they put into the league, the request to play in Loveland, Texas?
Yeah. But like, what do you think about this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's an airport in Lubbock you can fly into, and then. All right, here, I got answers for you. No, I don't have answers yet. By the way, Josh, Eddie Nunez says he feels your pain as a Florida Gator. He says, I understand. He says, do you have a Florida Gator there with you? I heard someone just mention that when Florida lost, they were done. As a Gator, tell him I understand. Huh?
Oof. All right. Yeah, how does that one feel? Because he's a Gator that worked at LSU.
Look, I think when you're this goes down to your alma mater. Like, I think he really likes LSU, but when you're a Gator, you're a Gator. When you're a Lobo, you're a Lobo, right? I mean, I just think I think that's where it is. Lubbock Christian, most likely for men's basketball, is the answer. There's your answer. Now, but I think, like, when he worked at LSU, he probably was hoping LSU won, and you're conflicted, right? And he and I have had this conversation once. It's like, you know, you're wearing LSU, but you're always that's always a tough one. Like Rocky used to say. Remember when Rocky, you say he hated having to play New Mexico, hated it because he loves New Mexico and that's his alma mater. He hated it, but he's the head coach of San Diego State. I think it's that same concept. I think your alma mater, when you're not working for one of them, Your alma mater is probably number one, but you love it, the place where he spent a lot of years and the people that he knows there. But yeah, when you're working for one and playing against the other, it's got to be tough. There's a little conflict. Ralph also hit me with this, and this is kind of my point on the TV deal. He says, NFL football does not want to play every day. Remember, Major League Baseball had a game of the week. Games were special, an event. Now it's on every channel, and the oversaturation led to ratings plunge along with popularity of sport. Too high tide to surf this morning. Waves are too big.
Too big.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
And by the way, the answer is you always cheer for your paycheck, but your heart is at your school. So it's kind of what I was saying, right? You're rooting for the colors you're wearing that day. Right? And that's a different way of saying exactly what he said. He says you always cheer for your paycheck, but your heart's at your school. Rocky was the same thing. When he was at San Diego State, I'm working for my paycheck. We're going to beat those guys, but my heart's there. That totally makes sense, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Have you ever been in that situation? I guess UNM's your alma mater. So Josh Sushan was, right? Josh was the voice of Lowell basketball, and he's an Aztec. Robert Portnoy, was he when the Lobos played Stanford in the NCAA tournament a few years back, was he the radio guy? Because, again, he's a Stanford guy, and you root for the paycheck, right? I mean, those situations happen all the time in this business.
Yeah. Well, what's that cheddar putting the cheddar on the table?
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah, that's right. If New Mexico played Florida, Eddie would root for New Mexico. I think he'd know the outcome, certainly in football, but we'd see. Right? Were the Aggies supposed to play Florida this week or this year? Was that on their schedule? I don't even remember what they had 2 or 3 of them.
It was Florida. It was. Did they have 2 SEC teams?
Mm-hmm.
It was Mississippi and Florida.
Sounds right to me. Yeah, it sounds right to me. And I'll reach out to Doug this week and see what we can do as far as getting him on for signing day. I mean, I'm going to guess. How do we're gonna see names come in and they're coming up on the Lobo signing board now, and by all accounts it looks like this coaching staff is going to have a pretty nice class, and we'll again talk to me in 2 years. How tough do you think it had to be for New Mexico State to go out and recruit? Well, the majority, it was them, Old Dominion, and didn't UMass play a game or two? Like were them and Old Dominion the only two that did games?
The tough thing is, did you have any decommitments? Because most of these guys were locked in prior to the season playing or not. So did they lose players by not playing?
Well, so are we going to play next year, Coach? And I wonder too how much this WAC realignment or not even realignment, this WAC expansion conversation with football plays in, because I would guess that it has nothing to do to the young men who would be committing now, right? The WAC, there's all kinds of schools that are talking. Not only is Tarleton and Dixie State in, but we're talking about Southern Utah. JJ, what was it? Abilene Christian, Sam Houston State. There was another Texas school forming a football conference that would start out as an FCS conference in the WAC with, and again, grumblings, and nothing official. But there's a lot of people talking about, would they then, within 4 or 5 years, become an FBS conference, play at the level that theoretically the Mountain West, the American, the Sun Belt, those are. And that might be something that the Aggies are looking for. They could survive as an independent for the next 4 or 5 years and then join a football-playing FBS WAC if it came to that. I think you and I are both in agreement that for basketball, this would be better for them, correct? Especially if Grand Canyon stays. We're in agreement that expansion would be better for them. There'd be some stability for their non-football sports, right?
Yeah, there's more stability at the top. You're shrinking the number of 200 plus RPI and or Kim Palm games that you're playing at that point in time, and it's a big thing to maybe go from having to always be a 14 seed to could you start putting yourself in the conversation to be an 11 or 12 in the NCAA tournament and have a chance at getting to not just the next game but maybe even the next weekend.
Yeah, no, I think it is a big thing. All right, we're going to continue that conversation. Have some signing day talk as well. Lobos win last night. We got more to do on that. You got NFL news and Giannis. We haven't talked about your boy James Harden yet either. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out! See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man, touchdown, wild catch. Not a defender inside. A little bit. Kowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
So they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is, a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
All right, your social media feed's going to be hit with all kinds of commitments, and it's signing day. Lobos JJ have announced, 15? The Aggies, I think, have 8 up on their site right now as we go through. Reached out. Danny Gonzalez will be with us tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Going to try to get Aggie fans some Doug Martin conversations. It's been a little while since we talked with him, as they got a football schedule coming up to start in February 20th, 27th, and March 6th against Tarleton, Highlands, and Dixie State. Opening drive, Jeff, JJ, Micah, Josh, and Alden. So JJ, and again, their names, right? It's just so hard. You look at positions and filling and where they're coming from. But it looks like right now Lobos are having a pretty decent day.
Yeah, hanging on to the majority of the players that they had committed throughout this season, and in a year that recruiting has been different for absolutely everyone. A lot of these guys probably didn't even get a chance to visit the university, but they built a relationship with coaches. You trust the film, you trust the people that you've talked to around these players, get an opportunity to bring them into the program. So it's a big day, of course, for the Lobos and Aggies, but then also for just prep players in the state of New Mexico. Because listen to this: Washington State, UCLA, Fresno State, Colorado State, Lobos, Aggies. Those are where players have signed to play Division I football from the state of New Mexico this year.
Yeah, no, it's actually really, really nice. And the more success the local athletes have, the more people are going to say, hey, let's see if we can find a gem in New Mexico. And it may get harder for New Mexico and New Mexico State to hold on to some of them. I mean, I think that's what happened when Danny and Rocky came in and took Jordan Bird to San Diego State. And he became a first-team all-conference player, and he won the most valuable offensive player of the New Mexico Bowl last year, right? Man can just flat out run. Keyshawn Banks, honorable mention. I think he was second-team all-conference last year from Rio Rancho, who's at San Diego State as well. So the local athletes are hitting it as well. I see 7 signees on New Mexico State's site, 3 offensive linemen, which obviously they need, couple of linebackers, a defensive back, and a tight end. So we'll reach out. At some point we'll hear from Doug, and it might be tomorrow, on how they did and what they did. And I got to believe the challenges. Look, when you got Danny laying some groundwork and they were playing, and then you run out, and especially on the defensive side of the ball, you say, look, I've got Rocky Long as our defensive coordinator, and look what he's done. If you're going for offensive linemen, how many really, really good offensive linemen Jason Lensmeyer has coached over the years? You've got something, and then if there was anybody on the fence and you finish with 2 wins, solid wins, and there's momentum around the program, if anybody had needed to be pushed over the top, and I don't know that anybody did, you got a little bit of momentum there. This had to be as unique as anything, and I mean, we've pick your word. I don't know what your most overused word of 2020 is. Unique, unprecedented, different.
The most overused thing of 2020 is saying it's 2020.
Right. Okay.
Oh, that's
but I mean, think of the recruiting year for New Mexico State. How incredibly bizarre. You've been in this business 30-something years. You've recruited. You know how recruiting goes. And now you're recruiting to a place, well, we're going to play 3 games in February and March, but we're not playing this year. But next year's going to be great. Oh, by the way, we don't have a conference, right? I mean, how 2020 is that, right?
It's the biggest challenge of any of those coaches' careers.
I think that's right. I think that's right. And look, I fully understand when people say, because I've said it a lot in the last week, it's as challenging as anything I've ever done professionally. right? You hear it, and then you go do it, and then you make the best out of it. You make something really good. Then you just go make it happen. But yeah, interested in hearing what Doug's got to say. And look, I can already tell you, I know what it's going to say at the end of the day. They're going to tell me that Alabama had the best recruiting class, and probably then Georgia, and then USC will be up there somewhere, and on and on and on. But it is what it is. Young man from Ruidoso, you're talking about in-state signing. Grant Oberhue of Ruidoso signed to play football for New Mexico State. So there's an in-state kid staying in-state, and he signed this morning, and good for him. It's when you're talking about the local kids, I think we all root hard for the local kids. 505-246-0610, Clovis, Jaden Phillips, Clovis High School. New Mexico Lobos, right? So I think it's good. All right, let me get you some of those emails that I promised you earlier, because you've taken the time to send me your thoughts. I think the least I can do is read them to you. Hondo's in on Lady of the Lou, he called them. Jeff, that was a Texas massacre. Stigwan Singleton looked like an All-American. Okay. It is what it was, and was it going to be anything more than that? This is interesting. James said, was this a dog whistle from Danny Gonzalez? Jeff, on Monday's award-winning OD, when he said Chavez was the starter going into the spring, which really means fall because there isn't going to be spring practice, was he sending a message to the other quarterbacks that it might be time for them to look at opportunities outside of Lobo football? No, I think he was sending a message that, man, you better pick up your damn game, because I got a kid here who's QB5 that just won 2 football games. Is going to work his backside off, and if you don't get better, he's going to play and you're not. I don't think that the message was you guys need to leave. I don't think he's trying to scare anybody off by saying there's competition. I think he's saying this kid just won 2 games, and you know what? He's the one healthy quarterback we have in the program, and he's my starter, and somebody can go knock him off. That's what I mean. I don't know that there was a dog whistle in there.
No, not at all. Like, do you think Danny wants to go into next season with Isaiah Chavez, Connor Janal, and whoever he signs today?
No.
In the quarterback room? No. It's a message of, all right, it's not a given that if Tavaka comes back or Trey Hall comes back that you guys are immediately the starter. You might have been ahead of him on a depth chart, but guess who finished the season victorious? This kid. You got work to do.
That's what I heard. And by the way, who should be your quarterback? Like if you're, I would ask you, Carl, who would you say should be QB1 going into spring? Should it be, Tavaka? You don't lose your job because you got hurt. Well, yeah, you kind of do. That is a old and I think expired statement. I don't think, you can't lose your job to injury. I just don't think that is true anymore. I think that has gone the way of the dinosaur. It used to be, Wally Pipp, got Wally pipped by Lou Gehrig. But I absolutely think you can lose your job to injury. Drew Bledsoe lost his job to injury to Tom Brady, right? Alex Smith was injured, and Colin Kaepernick came in and took his job. I just, coaches are going to play the best. And if this kid is the best, then he's going to play. And if he beats out Tavaka just because Tavaka got hurt, to me, and I don't know where you are on this. We never had this conversation. But do you agree that the whole adage you can't lose your job because you're injured, to me, that's expired. It's antiquated. It's not right anymore.
It isn't correct anymore. And this is one where you'll get the opportunity to get your job back. And I think with Tavaka, we're all just wondering, how is he health-wise? The dude suffered a concussion against Hawaii and was never cleared to even practice after that. So there's major question marks just with the health of him as a person, let alone factoring into the quarterback conversation.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Go ahead.
I was just going to say there's 2 quarterbacks so far assigned to the class for UNM.
Yeah. One out of Arizona, one out of California, correct?
Yep.
Am I right? Okay. Look, bring in competition. For crying out loud, you went through 5 of them in a 7-game season. I mean, to me, on this roster, you can never have enough quarterbacks. I've watched this program for long enough that for whatever reason, they go through more quarterbacks than anybody I've ever seen, right? And this year was no different. They went through 5, if you count Brant Hughes, and I think you have to, JJ. I know he was hurt before the season, but they went down to QB5. They were done. They had none left. I've never seen a program run out of quarterbacks. I'm sure it's happened before. I just haven't seen it. They damn near ran out of quarterbacks. I guess we were here a few years ago. I mean, right? The Bryson Carroll red shirt. I mean, he was the last quarterback left, and so they had him go in and take a knee and burn his season, which is still, to me, one of the biggest crimes in the history of college football, to take away that young man's redshirt season for that. All right, 505-246-0610. I'm going to ask you this, and Carl kind of spurred a topic, so I'll go with it, JJ. He says he thinks Danny Gonzalez sent a dog whistle to his other quarterbacks. Who should be your number one quarterback? Let's play along with me. Okay, I know you don't think there's going to be spring football. Let's say there's spring football in May, or April, whenever. I don't care. Who should be your number one quarterback? Who do you think going in should be number one on the depth chart? I'm entertaining your conversation. Tavaka, Trey Hall, Brant Hughes, Isaiah Chavez, Connor Janal, somebody else, Joe Namath. I'm like I want to kiss you. Who should it be? Alden says it should be QB5, and I don't think he's wrong. 505-246-0610. It's the holiday season, guys. You're out shopping. You're trying to get those last-minute gifts, taking care of everybody on your list. Do not forget to take care of you. How you feeling, guys? Could be better, right? Are you dealing with lack of energy, low T, erectile dysfunction maybe? Then I strongly suggest you call New Mail. They're right here in Albuquerque, and they're helping thousands of men all over the country take care of themselves and feel better. Pick up the phone, call New Mail, 505-652-1688, or visit Newmail, that's NUMALE.com. Taking care of yourself, feeling better is easy. The process is comfortable from the phone call through the treatment, and the results are real. New Mail can help you with ED, depression, even hair loss. Start the process. You got to call them. 505-652-1688. Look, as men age, these things are natural, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. The beauty of New Mail is you can battle nature. You can feel like you again, and that is the perfect gift. Do something special for you, fellas. Call New Mail and feel better. 505-652-1688, or visit newmail.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
He's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side, provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out! See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man! Touchdown! Wildcat! Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Kowski on the sideline! Hasta mañana! He's off to the races! Touchdown, Clovis!
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
Signing day continues. Lobos and Aggies getting. Is the fax machine out today? Are we still faxing? Get the fax machine out for one day of the year. Well, two, because now there's 2 signing days. And hope they have a fax machine on the other side. Can we just scan and send now? Or is that okay?
Can you? Isn't it just about hashtags now? Just hashtag.
Dude, I don't know. If I announce,
I'm a Lobo. There you go.
yeah, if I announce it on the tweeter, is that good? I said it on the tweeter. Is that good enough? Danny Gonzalez will be with us tomorrow, 8 o'clock. We'll talk about his signing class. Would you tell me, Micah, you're kind of counting, you got 6 guys from Texas, 4 from New Mexico, a bunch of California kids, a little Arizona?
Yep, you got a couple from Arizona, a couple from California, about 6 to my count so far from Texas, 4 local from New Mexico.
All right, and they keep coming in, and they'll come in. I think you're expecting 24, I believe. But that, if I don't know where Danny's going to find a scholarship for QB5. My guess is he's going to find a scholarship somewhere for QB5. Don't you think, for Isaiah Chavez?
I would assume so at some point.
Yeah, a lottery scholarships. I guess that's part of it. All right, emails, Jeff at 610knml.com, JJ at 610knml.com. Gopher said, running out of quarterbacks, Jeff, didn't it happen in Davies' first season when you were just hoping B.R. Holbrook could make it through an entire game at 7,200 because the backup was flashy? Yeah, but you had flashes. Well, I don't know. Probably. I mean, we've gone through so many quarterbacks around here. I know we've had this conversation. I know it's still fresh, even though it's old, because JJ, I can't remember the last time beyond week 2 that we've had a coach on Monday and you or I haven't asked who's your quarterback this week, and it's been a fair question. Who's the quarterback this week?
And that is why you're not running off anyone from this program. If they want to make a different decision, if you feel a certain way about a guy or 2 coming in, all right, you'll make that decision. But what Danny said this week wasn't, hey, Tavaka and Trey Hall, go find somewhere else to play. It was, no, it's not a given. Like, Isaiah Chavez has earned an opportunity to have a shot to compete for the starting quarterback position. And who would have thought that? No one at this point in time. But what he did on the football field, he executed this offense. He gave life to this football team. And whenever they get a chance to hit the practice field, he's going to walk onto that field right beside those other guys.
Yeah, no, I think all that's right. All right, let me get you another one. Actually, you'll like this. This is from Terry. He said, the OD in the AM highlight comments of the year. Jeff, since you're going to be gone next week, I'm submitting the caller comments that stuck with me the whole year. First place, his favorite comment of the year, when the subject was Ginger versus Marianne. That's certainly pandemic sports talk. And Jeffrey called in and said, why not both? That was his favorite comment of the year. Fair enough. Second place, this is funny too. Edward calling in and starting with, I'm going to be brief. Sure you are. Honorable mention to Lance with his good-looking female woodchucker story. JJ wins nickname of the year with QB5. Great job keeping the show top shelf all year. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everyone involved with the morning show. That's from Terry. It's kind of cool, huh? I guess we could play that game too. I mean, we're getting there. End of the year, favorite stuff, favorite comments. Why not both? Fair enough. I was thinking of this story the other day. Johnny Morris, who just passed away. I don't know if I ever told you. Johnny Morris, the legendary KOAT anchor, who passed away about 3 weeks ago. When I first got to Channel 7, Johnny Morris was the weekend anchor. And I came into Channel 7 as I was a weekend sports guy. So it was Johnny Davis and Teresa Davis McKee were the anchors. Jeff Martinez was the weather guy, and then I was the sports guy. Johnny was the greatest. Johnny was one of the most chill, nicest, just everything that you guys read about Johnny Morris, the legendary anchor, was right. I mean, just one of the kindest, greatest souls. But there was, at the end of the story, they used to run these, they call them kickers at the end of the news. That's before they pushed sports all the way to the end and then had to end the show with another weather report, because 6 weather reports during the newscast certainly was never enough. So they did a CNN piece, on boxers or briefs, and boxers or briefs and whatever. And so they came back out to the wide shot, and Teresa says to Johnny, at the end of the show, they're rolling credit. Well, Johnny, I got to ask you, boxers or briefs? And Johnny says, what if I told you neither? And her face, thanks for watching Action 7 News. We'll see you tomorrow. It's kind of the Ginger and Marianne both answer to me. I don't know. I just thought of that story when I saw that Johnny passed. AC says, I think the best schedule for the NFL is Sunday with a doubleheader on Monday. What do you think of that? Instead of going, I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. But what do you think of, instead of playing the Thursday game, playing 2 games on Monday?
I've enjoyed the multiple games on a Monday, but I think for the league, they like having 2 days where it's one marquee game.
So here's why it doesn't work.
Monday night.
Yeah, here's why it doesn't work. The TV windows, with 3 hours from West Coast to East Coast, it just doesn't work for them to maximize the window. You start a game at 3 o'clock on the West Coast, you're basically losing the TV window on the West Coast for the first game. Once we get back outside of a pandemic and people actually have to go to work, go to the office, be commuting, the 3 to 6 window on the West Coast, which is 6, what would be 6 to 9? Is that right? Yeah. I mean, you just don't, with 3 hour difference in your country, you just don't have that. And so, I mean, they do it in instances, but I don't think that sustains, and that's why. And that would push the premier game back to a 9 o'clock start on the East Coast. So you'd always have to have
sleep on the East Coast anyway.
It's unbelievable, man.
It's all about them. So I don't know why you'd be worried. They don't sleep. They watch sporting events at 3 in the morning. It's what they do on the East Coast.
How often have you thought about if we did a morning show and we were on the East Coast? I mean, there's games I can't stay up for, right, at times. But Monday Night Football
ends. If you do a
ends.
show on the East Coast, you don't know that the United States goes past the Mississippi River.
No, that's right, and that's why the West Coast. That's why USC is ranked 13th in the CFP. But how many games would we either just completely miss and be talking out of our backsides when we talk about them in the morning? Oh, did you see the end of that game that ended at 12:30 in the morning? Like, really? And you're on the air at 6 a.m. I've thought about, so we're by the way, best time zone for sports. I've lived in the Pacific, I've lived in the East, I've lived in the Mountain. The Mountain time zone is by far, to me, the perfect time zone.
Perfecto. You get your marquee games starting at 5. Like, say, tonight, your college basketball marquee games start at 5. Wrap about 9:30, 10. Perfect window.
Yeah, to me, there's no doubt. I've lived in a lot of places. This is the best time zone for sports. On Sundays, games start at 11. You can sleep in. You can go to church. You can chill. You can go run. You can do whatever it is you want to do. And then if you want to just put some miles on the couch and be on it at 11 o'clock and just ride it out until, about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night? I mean, and Pacific's not bad now. 10 o'clock's not that bad. It always tripped me out to be on the East Coast and wait till 1 o'clock for football to start. What are we doing all day? What am I supposed to do? How long am I supposed to wait to put in my last second? Is it Tyler Boyd or Jacoby Myers? I don't know. And then I got to hold out that whole anxiety till 1 o'clock. Yes. I don't have the patience to do that. I can't live with that. Gopher says, what about your two-time defending world champion Duke City Gladiators, Jeffy? Remember we were supposed to get some friendlies last summer. To my knowledge, those never happened. Now we're less than 3 months until they would normally tip, and I haven't heard a word or seen a schedule. Actually, JJ, if I'm not mistaken, I think we did see a schedule fairly recently, and I'll work on getting that to you, but I'm pretty sure we did. And there is a schedule out. In fact, there's already a game on the schedule with, was it Prescott or wherever Dominic Bramante is, and the big return of Coach Bramante to Stingley. Is it still Stingley? It's not Stingley anymore.
They're not stinging.
The Sugar Skulls. I forget where they're, but yeah, down in Arizona.
Is that where Dominic is now?
Yeah,
Sugar
that's where
Skulls?
Coach. Yeah, the Sugar
Well,
Skulls.
I knew he's in Prescott, but yeah.
The Sugar Skulls.
Yeah. All right. I'll get more of your emails. I want to hear from you. So I got who should be when the Lobos. Let's just assume, and you don't have to hit me with they're not going to have spring practice. All right. Play along. Assume there's going to be spring practice at some point.
Pretend.
Who should be the Lobo QB1? Who should be at the top of the depth chart? Should it be Isaiah Chavez, Tavaka, Trey Hall? I mean, who should it be? Because we got an email saying, oh, that's just a dog whistle and tell the other guys to go. As you go in, here's signing day. They got all these guys. Who should it be? I think it's got to be QB5. But I want your thoughts at 505-246-0610. Hey, nobody wants to pay for insurance, but if you're smart, you have insurance. That's what IPS is. International Protective Service is an insurance policy against break-ins. I've used IPS to protect the home. In fact, we got home. JJ went to dinner last night, or we brought some dinner home, and as Addie and I were pulling into the driveway, the IPS patrolman came by, just watching the house, talked to him. It's random, but they're always there when you need them. IPS does patrols. They'll watch your home. Now, if you're gone for the holidays, you got a trip coming up, IPS can watch your house. They'll pick up the newspapers, the garbage cans get rolled out, garbage day. Just give your home that lived-in look. And if your alarm goes off, they respond within 5 to 7 minutes, often less, with highly trained armed officers. They can also offer you 24-hour guards at your business. Don't wait until your home or business has been invaded. Stop crime before it happens. Call IPS. See what they can do for you. It's peace of mind. It's kind of invaluable. 505-897-2420 is the number. 505-897-2420, or visit them at ipsglobal.com.
Join us for your favorite holiday tradition this
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Let's get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll just shoot it. He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
In the district, inside, fly, Eagles!
Chavez uses some athleticism, and then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Could have said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we could see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh! Ho, ho, ho!
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand.
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji!
Tomorrow, 7:30 in the morning, we will talk with Doug Martin. He is New Mexico State's football coach. Get a look at the New Mexico State Aggies signing class. 8 o'clock tomorrow. Danny Gonzalez, the head football coach at the University of New Mexico, will be with us. We'll talk about the Lobos' new recruits. And then at 8:30 tomorrow, catch up with Jerry Palm of CBSSports.com as we go into Conference Championship weekend. So there's a ton of content for you tomorrow, and I think there's some really good conversations to be had tomorrow. I hope we have it for you every day, but looking forward to the guest list tomorrow because I think it's really strong. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. That's how you can get at us today. Emails are coming in, jeff@610knml.com, jj@610knml.com. I got a bunch of emails. Let's hit the phones. Sean, good morning, Sean. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. How you doing, Sean?
Doing well, gentlemen. How's it going?
It's all right.
It's all right. Good. So, talk about time zones for watching the games. It is great being here in Mountain Time, but man, living back in Scotland and having to wait until 1 a.m. to watch a game, there's commitment to watch the Jet Blues.
Why don't you just record that? I'm sure in Scotland you could probably stay away from the score and watch it in the morning.
Because there's nothing like watching the game live.
That's right. No, that's right.
But as far as the Lobos go, Lobos fans are almost like Jets fans. You guys have suffered long enough. Go with the hot hand. The guy has earned it. When was the last time the Lobos had a 2-game winning streak?
A long time, and your point is right, and you got nothing to lose because if you go into spring practice with QB5, Isaiah Chavez is your number one guy, and someone beats him, you just say someone beat him out for the job. I mean, that it's his job, but it's an open competition. He's number one right now, but if someone beats him in spring and fall, then that person will be the starter. It's not like you're committed to saying this guy's my starter when we open the season. He's my number one guy going into practice. You don't have anything to lose.
Exactly. You name him QB1 going into the start, because what kind of message does that send to your team? That the guy can bust his ass and win you some games, but that knocks him right back to number 5.
Yep, that's right. That's what competition is.
Terrible message. I think it ruins your culture, especially when you're trying to build something like Danny is. I wish them the best. I really don't have any horse in the race for college football. We don't really go nuts for it in the UK. But, man, watching Florida get anywhere near a championship game, it's an injustice to some of the teams that have gone on.
Totally agree. Totally agree with you.
But I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on. You guys are amazing. Have a good one.
See you, Sean. Look, his point is so dead on. First of all, it sends a message to your team that you can earn your way to the top of the depth chart. Now, you can also earn your way backwards, but this kid earned his way to the top of the depth chart. He goes in. Look, nobody said when you go into spring practice as the number one guy that you've got to be the starter when you open up the next season. If somebody beats him in spring practice, he's going to play the quarterback who gives him the best chance to win. But I think everything about saying this kid's QB1 going into spring practice is positive. Message-wise, program-wise, and bottom line is, who else should be number one?
I agree with that, and that's why Danny pretty much said someone's going to have to come take it away from him. And whenever you start practice, Isaiah Chavez deserves to have the first shot. And I think that culture is a big point because he talks about the grind, what kind of player you're going to be, the buy-in to the system, and Isaiah Chavez embodies that spirit. You know, a true freshman walk-on who not only rose to the occasion, he looked cool, calm, and collected while doing it. And he goes back to something that he said that stood out to you the most, Jeff, is when he acknowledged the other quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like, this is a kid who he didn't come in and he's like, oh, I deserve more. I should have gotten more D1 offers. No, he understood. For my chance to be a Division I football player, it's going to be a walk-on. Of course, he had the connection with his coach from Rio Rancho, which helped in that situation, but you see it, differently. You know, a guy embracing the opportunity as someone that's like, oh, I deserve this, I deserve that. He didn't expect it because he was quarterback 5 for a reason, not because he couldn't necessarily play, but just being a true freshman walk-on. Who's doing that in the country? No one.
Right. No, I think all that's right. Back to it. Lance, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. How are you, Lance?
Oh, okay. A little shunned lately, but your IPS guys, they busted some dude. He wasn't even working for the company. It's an HVAC company. There's like $250,000, $500,000 worth of units in there. And he shined a light, and he was working for, a few people on the block, like I suggested that they do. And so the guys, they ran, down the alley, got out of the vehicle, but they ended up getting caught. He took the license plate number, so he saved those people a lot of money. So
beautiful.
Good job of promoting them.
That's right.
Hey, Jeff, yesterday was 12 days of Festivus for the rest of us. Yes. And yesterday, I thought of it when I watched Seinfeld last night. The Soup Nazi was on, and no sports talk for you. That's what happens to me now lately. But also, too, you worked at Channel 7. Did you know Sean McAfee? Was he there when you worked there?
He was at the Tribune, I think, at that point.
Oh, okay. He, in practice, at my freshman year, he's at the free throw line, okay, and he flips it back, not like underhand, but he just like a regular shot, and it goes the opposite direction and nailed it on the first shot.
Nice. That's impressive.
He was the best coach, one of the best coaches I've ever had. And anyway, hey, for JJ, did you know you could make snow out of the stuff inside of the diapers if you cut it open? Not like the words you used yesterday. I don't mean that, but the stuff that absorbs the water and stuff like that.
The cotton filling.
All you do is add water to it, and you can
Make
do that
snow
around your Christmas tree inside.
Perfect. See?
So I just thought I'd just
That's
let
good.
you know
Good.
that. Hey, and
Crafts
you
with
went to
diapers.
San Diego State, right?
That's correct.
San Diego State or Lobos?
What do you mean?
You said earlier.
Well, like when you're rooting? Yeah, I don't like those days either. Yeah.
Or, against his team.
Yeah. No, it's hard for me. Yeah, it's look. You always love your alma mater, and I'm not going to sit. JJ, I kind of don't root those games, right? I kind of back off, and just stay neutral observer.
There. Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm the first one that picked both Marianne and Ginger on this show.
All right, you can have the
3
credit.
years ago, whatever. So
I just read the
I
email.
don't like being put in a category where I'm out. I'm getting a little disrespected lately.
Yeah.
And, anyway, I love it. I get my freedom of speech. Thank you very much. Have a nice
All right, see you, Lance. And I just read the email. I didn't fact check it. So on Lobo Aztec games, like for me, it's very businesslike, right? Because you always your heart's with your alma mater, but I especially when you've got good relationships with the people and you consider people at UNM friends, and you just kind of back out and watch the game. You know what I mean?
That is okay.
Yeah.
We have a new segment. Crafts
that?
with Lance.
Yes.
Diaper crafts.
1 minute diaper crafts with Lance.
What can you make with your diaper? Is it dirty or is it not? Is it filled with that word that I said yesterday, poop? Or is it, don't say poop. Or are we talking about unused diapers?
You
Or
can't say poop on the radio. Poop, 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 poop.
It's the context, Lance. It's the context in which it was said. 505-246-0610. Don't say poop anymore. All right. We'll come back. I got time for it. I still got more of your emails. Who should be QB1 going into Lobo camp? Should it be QB5? It's the opening drive at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the 3, and he buries it. Could be coming in soon. Double kick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul. Right here by Lewis all the way. Coast to coast. And finish. What a...
Around the screen. Against White. Step back. It's blocked. JB with the block.
In transition. Ahead to hit on. Hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance. And it's put up. And it's good. What a 3 that is by Jalen.
Hidon puts it up. Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Domina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Lusses. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
Second field goal, he's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off Romero. A 3 for
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good.
Ball for Kurt Scheider off the right iron, just grazed it. Loose basketball on the floor. Matos grabs it. Matos put it on the deck once and had it stripped away. Loose ball still rolling around. Saquon Singleton found it to Matos for the two-hand flush. First dunk for Byron Matos as the redshirt freshman hammers it home.
Hammers it home. It's Robert Portnoy. UNM Radio Network. Lobos beat our lady, not my lady. Not your lady, but our lady of the lake, 104-65. Opening drive, Jeff, JJ, Micah, Josh, and Alden today on the ProView Network side. You can watch us on ProViewNetworks.com. Go to our Facebook page, the OD and the AM, and you can watch the show every day. Did we do, when Hoser was here, were we doing ProView, or was that just a Micah phenomenon? That's post-Hoser? Hoser, you're on the opening drive. We're an award-winning radio show. I think you're familiar with us. We also do the visual medium. Is the visual medium post you?
No, it actually. I was part of it when we first introduced it.
All right,
so great
good
to be part of that.
But now Mike has got his own camera. Well,
yeah, that is true. I mean, but hey, I like to see that as I was the foundation for that.
No
I
doubt.
The next guy, improve it.
No doubt.
I guess.
Yeah, no doubt. What's up?
Hey, I heard you guys talking about some karate earlier.
You like the Cobra Kai?
So I was shocked to hear that JJ has never seen the Karate Kid movies. And so, boy, that is definitely a must-see, especially maybe if you get some time off or, something to definitely watch. Those were great back in the mid-'80s when those first came out?
Yeah, probably that's about right. JJ does pregame for football, though that's over now. Do you do pregame for basketball?
No.
And he's the voice of women's basketball. He's got a game tomorrow. What is this time off of which you speak, Josue?
Oh, well. Now that you did mention that, now he is the voice of the women's hoops, then, I guess he's not going to have too much time to catch up. We'll probably have to wait till the summer or something like that, huh?
Well, when he's on the flight to Pine Bluff tomorrow to call the Lady Lobos and the Golden Lions, maybe that would be a good view for him. He could download.
Yeah, you're right. That is a good way to, because I know that JJ is always like pre-prepped. I mean, he's not always he's always prepared. He's got all his notes, and unless he's just going to go over those notes again and maybe rewrite some new tidbits in there, and I still haven't. I've caught part of his games. I need to catch a full one because I want to see if there's something unique that he brings. Because you got Robert Portnoy. He's bringing the oh my, the left hand hammer. Just some of those things that there's that key thing that guy does that's unique and that we all love.
Yeah, JJ will get there. JJ's gonna be really, really, really good at this. And by the way, have you ever seen anybody take more notes than JJ Buck? Like honestly, he's the biggest note-taking Malafala I've ever met.
Yep, that guy's got file after file after file. He's like,
and he knows where they all are.
As a matter of fact,
I got it right here. All right, man.
That's right.
It's good to hear you.
So it's always difficult because if you try to prove some kind of point, JJ's like, well, actually, you're wrong. And I'm like, darn it. You're right. I am wrong.
It's the truth, man. That guy's got more notes. All right, Josue, be well. If I don't talk to you, have a Merry Christmas.
A little plug. I'll be hosting the sports bar with Carlisle on Friday. So,
yeah.
So listen in the morning. Tune in Friday afternoon for a little bit more Hoser for your liking.
Everybody gets a little hoser in their life. All right, enjoy that. Have fun with it.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Awesome.
Look at that. Josue gets his own show now. Everybody, you get a show, and you get a show. I heard Villanucci on the Big Stick the other day, filling in for it was TJ's slot. Yeah, he's back. Was back on KKOB. I was like, whoa, you get everybody is back. It's crazy. Kind of blew my mind. Yeah. Yeah. All right. 505-246-0610. That's where Hoser called. Still got time if you want to get in. So what do I get tonight? There's no more action to be had. Like this is I'm kind of jonesing now for this weekday football. I know I told you I don't need all that NFL, but
next week, as you know, as bowl season, it's upon us. Get some nice ACC action, Big Ten action, if you'd like, college hoops wise.
I like college hoops. Yeah, I like college hoops.
Villanova.
That's good.
Nova's 13-point favorite. We'll see.
When do the Aztecs play again? They played a hell of a schedule. I know they got some good ones still coming up. Bad Street said Lancer is not the OD answer, Jeff. I don't think you're breaking open $50 diapers to make fake snow. Well, so... Yeah, no, you're not. I don't even want to go there. And what's the old saying? I mean, Addie learned this when she was little. Don't eat yellow snow.
Yeah.
That's just a lemon snow cone. What do you mean?
No, it's not, dude. What's wrong with you? Don't tell kids that. You have some kid in the car with daddy. Really? It's just a yellow snow cone, daddy. What's wrong with you?
We don't get snow here. Come on.
We got snow yesterday here.
If this was Colorado
and it was
radio,
white.
then maybe it'd be a different story, but...
You don't get real snow here, man. We get real snow up there, man. Okay.
Colorado doesn't have real green chili, so I guess it's a trade.
Exactly. We don't have real snow.
But we got a real green something else.
By the way, the marijuana sales I saw in October set records. The COVID fatigue. This is not an editorial comment. All I'm saying is the numbers that came in on legal marijuana sales in Colorado for the month of October were off the charts, ridiculous, and they expect November and December to even blow those away.
You don't get to leave the house, right?
I mean, do what you got to do, and they're doing it. And I think our legislature is going to look at the numbers in January when they have their 60-day session and go, do you see the revenue that they're making up there? And our people are crossing over there to go get it. I think this is the year that it becomes legalized here, don't you? Not an editorial comment. I'm just. Why you guys all look at me like you're afraid to touch the legal marijuana subject?
I assume it's going to be presented. Gambling, marijuana.
Yes.
Diapers. Gas and marijuana is how New Mexico is going to make their money back.
Gas and marijuana.
That's
is there a
New
correlation there?
Future.
Is there I'm just looking for the correlation.
Natural gas and oil.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, you've got to have gasoline in your tank to go through Wendy's late night to. Just in case you get hungry. Yeah.
Or your delivery, or your Uber Eats guy has to drive it. So
exactly. Yeah,
listen to that, Michelle. Hey, that's how you do it.
All right. JJ, you got a game tomorrow. As of now, Lady Lobos are going to play Arkansas Pine Bluff. 1 o'clock tomorrow right here on the Sports Animal. That's as of now, Arkansas Pine Bluff had a game canceled yesterday, correct?
Yeah, they were supposed to play Louisiana Tech. COVID issues in the Pine Bluff program, so I hope they play basketball, but we'll find out more today. Should know by this afternoon.
Yeah, it's hard to think that COVID issues go away in your program within a day. So you're prepping, and I know you got stacks of notes on the Golden Lions, and hopefully you'll get to use them. Men go back at it tomorrow. They play Latorno. That's an evening game, correct, over on News Radio KKOB?
No, that's a 2:30 tip-off.
Yep.
2:30. What's with all the Friday afternoon? Tomorrow, what day is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday, right? All right. So a 1 o'clock Thursday game and a 2:30 Thursday game. All right, I'm down, man. It's JJ. I'm going to overuse your expression. It's 2020, right? It doesn't matter. Play whenever you can. Good stuff today, guys. Micah, great job as always. Josh, Alden, thank you. You can watch the show on replay 3 o'clock on Comcast Channel 26 as you can every day. Tomorrow, Doug Martin at 7:30. Danny Gonzalez at 8 o'clock. Jerry Palm at 8:30. So we got a lot for you tomorrow. Jim Rome show is next. Dan Patrick show's after that. Sports Bar at 3. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. JJ, enjoy the day.
Have a day, y'all.
Please be good to each other. Go out, be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. Smell you tomorrow.
Hey, JJ.
Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, twine.
Creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the 3, and he buries it.
Could be coming in soon. Double kick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
What a...
Around the screen. Against White. Step back. It's blocked. JB with the block.
In transition. Ahead to hit on. Hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance. And it's put up. And it's good. What a 3 that is by Jalen.
Hito puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Domina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Lusses. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
Second field goal, he's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off Romero. A 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia.
Nice move behind his back. It's a good. Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing,
Well, he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, a little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer.
Look at this, they're going to score again. Look at this.
Up top. Yes, and the finish for Agbayosi.